Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you saw by the title, I will be ranking my first 10 platinums from worst to best. I've actually made a video for each one of these platinums, so if you want to go see a specific one, make sure you go check that video out. I'll leave a link to the playlist below and go check them out if you haven't already. Also, just quickly, I'd like to say thank you for all the support again. It's been just truly fantastic. We're at 900 subs now, almost at that 1000, so if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. Alright, so how this is going to work, I'm going to be ranking my first 10 platinums from worst to best, purely based on enjoyment and whether or not I enjoyed the journey getting to the platinum. Remember, this is just my opinion. If you disagree, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But yeah, this is just what I think from my personal experience playing these games. Also, just quickly, some of these games do have 100% as well, so they have Platinum and then DLC 100%, so I'm going to include the 100% as part of the Platinum journey, as all these games I have earned 100% for. So without further ado, let's get into the ranking.
Number 10.
Okay, to kick things off at number 10, I have put Gotham Knights. Okay, I'll just get this clear. Just because these games are ranked lower than the other ones does not mean they are necessarily bad games. I think my first 10 platinums, all of the games I've played, they are all good games. But just in terms of the worst one, or the one I enjoyed the least, would have to be Gotham Knights. Okay, so in my original video for Gotham Knights, I gave it a 7 out of 10 for just playing it, a 5 out of 10 to get the Platinum, and a 3 out of 10 to get the 100%. Or if you haven't got the Platinum yet, I gave it a 4 out of 10 to get the 100%, as they kind of go hand in hand. But when I first got the Platinum for Gotham Knights, the DLC hadn't come out yet. So that's why it was a bit more painful that I had to go back and do it. The reason why Gotham Knights is coming in last on the list is purely because the Platinum experience was pretty boring. It was very grindy and repetitive, especially with the combat trophies related, just killing a certain amount of enemies, and then don't get me started on the collectibles. That is definitely the main reason why this game is coming in last, is the collectibles. You have to find them on your own. They don't appear on the map, majority of them. So it's some of them, especially the Court of Owls books that you have to find. They're so, I had to use a guide and it was just boring while doing it. It wasn't fun. The rest of the game is still good. Combat is good. Still a decent story. So I'd still recommend play it, but the Platinum is just a bit of a grind, so be prepared for the long haul. It's a bit boring. And the 100% too, whew. If you've seen my Heroic Assault video, you know what I'm talking about. The 100% is even more of a grind, especially those 30 floors to beat Starro. Oh, it just completely drained my soul. That was just so annoying. 100% is way worse. The one saving grace is if you haven't done the Platinum, you can actually do the 100% trophies to get the Platinum quicker, but I had to go back and do it, so that was very annoying. Okay, but one other decent thing about this game is you can do it with a friend, which is what I was able to do. Makes the experience a lot better because you can just have a laugh about it with your friend and it's not as boring. Okay then, let's move on to the next one. Coming in at 9th, we have Uncharted Drake's Fortune Remastered. Alright, some of you might be a bit surprised or annoyed at this, as Uncharted has actually been my most popular video, and lots of you guys, this was your first experience of the channel watching my Uncharted videos. But these Platinums, unfortunately, are going to have to be ranked lower than some of the others, as they just weren't as good. So in my original video for Uncharted 1, I gave it an 8 out of 10 to play, a 6 out of 10 to Platinum, and also a 6 out of 10 to 100%. Again, just because this is at 9th does not mean it is a bad game. This is the first Uncharted game I played, and the Uncharted games are truly awesome, so this game is definitely not bad. I definitely recommend you play it, but in terms of the platinum, it can get a bit repetitive and a bit boring. Getting certain kills with certain weapons, doing that over and over again, or getting like stealth kills, even though this game has like no stealth at all, so you just end up having to restart checkpoint over and over again. Just stuff like that kind of lets down the experience. Crushing difficulty as well on this game, very, very annoying to do. This game does not feel like it was meant to be played on a high difficulty, as enemies are just insane. Also, collectibles in this game, they are a bit of fun to try and find. I did use a guide when I played through these games just to get through them quicker, and it did get a bit annoying, always having to look out for treasure and get ready to find it in each chapter. But they're not, I wouldn't say they're bad, the collectibles in this game. Just, I think there's only 60 of them in this first game as well, so that actually wasn't too bad compared to the later Uncharted games. And on top of that, I got the 100%, which I had to do a speed run of the game and also beat the game on Brutal, which makes the playthroughs go from 1 to 3, unfortunately. So that is another letdown, is you have to do 3 playthroughs of this game. And Brutal is tough, but there is a glitch to get cheats activated, so it makes it a lot easier. So I'd still say Crushing was harder, but definitely the 100% makes the game longer and requires you to do more playthroughs, unfortunately. Overall though, it was a solid platinum and 100% experience. I'd still recommend it even though it is at 9th. The Uncharted series is very good, and you have to start with the first game. It's probably the easiest platinum and 100% out of all of them, so definitely do it. Alright then, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, at number 8, I have Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception Remastered. So, Uncharted 3 unfortunately suffers the same thing as Uncharted 1, as many of the trophies are actually the exact same. So, in my original Uncharted 3 video, I actually gave it a 9 out of 10 to play it, an 8 out of 10 to get the platinum, and a 4 out of 10 to get the 100%. The reason why this one is 8th, similar reasons to Uncharted 1. Most of the trophies are pretty repetitive, just having to get certain kills with a certain type of weapon, or with melee combat or stealth. However, this is higher than Uncharted 1 as they actually integrate some of these aspects into the game better, like there are more stealth sections, so you're actually able to get those trophies easier, and some of the other miscellaneous trophies weren't as bad either. However, this time there are 100 treasures to get in terms of the collectibles, or I guess 101 because of the strange relic. So there are actually more collectibles this time, so that means you're looking out for more of them, which is kind of annoying, but again, it gives a good feeling finding these treasures, trying to look for them, but I did use a guide, so maybe that made my experience not as fun. And of course, again, for the 100%, this time a 4 out of 10, because again, it makes it you have to do 3 playthroughs of the game because of the speed run and the Brutal playthrough, and this time, apparently there is a glitch I've heard, but I couldn't figure it out, I stuffed it up, I don't know, so I had to do it legit, and Brutal was very annoying on this game, to say the least. Overall, solid game. I did put it higher than Uncharted 1, mainly because the story is better and the gameplay has been improved. But yeah, other than that, let's move on to the next one.
Number 7.
Alright, at number 7, I have put Stray. So, finally something other than Uncharted, I have put Stray. Still a really enjoyable game, but there are a few reasons why it is down at number 7. So, in my original video for Stray, I gave it a 9 out of 10 to play, and also an 8 out of 10 to get the Platinum 4, and of course, there is no DLC, so the 100% is technically part of the Platinum, so still an 8 out of 10. This game is a great little short story, especially same with the Platinum as well. It's pretty short and easy to do. It's just a fun, chill, wholesome game. I just did this as a break in between. I think I finished the God of War series and then I was moving on to the Spider-Man series, so I just did this game in between as a bit of a break, and it was definitely worth it. The collectibles in this game are pretty easy to find. I think I went through the game, found most of them, and just looked at a guide if I needed to find a few more. Same with the miscellaneous trophies, they're fairly simple to do. Except there is one where you have to go AFK for an hour, but that's not too bad, just leave your console on for an hour. There is, however, a speedrun trophy where you have to complete the game in under 2 hours or so, I believe, which wasn't too bad, but again, that means you have to do a second playthrough. And also there is one trophy where you have to run through this area where there's enemies, these little bug things called Zurks, and you can't get touched by any of them. They try and jump onto you and grab you, and you cannot get jumped on by any of them or else you instantly fail the trophy. And this took me multiple attempts to get. Definitely the hardest trophy in this game. You can still do it, but it can be very infuriating at times, which is why it has unfortunately down at number 7 this game. So let's move on to the next one.
Number 6.
So at number 6 I have put Uncharted 2 Among Thieves Remastered. So again, sorry, some of you guys might be a bit disappointed by this, having Uncharted, all 3 games actually in the bottom 5 of this list. But like I said, all these games are really good games, it's just going for the Platinum and 100%, some of the other games were better. Okay, so in my original video for this game, I gave it a 10 out of 10 to play, an 8 out of 10 to Platinum, and only a 2 out of 10 to get the 100% for. Alright, so some of you might be going, JT, why did you put this higher than the other Uncharted games when you only gave it a 2 out of 10 for the 100%? And you said that you were including that as part of the Platinum. Well, I know it is very hard, the Brutal in this game, definitely the hardest one out of the trilogy that I had to do, and that's the reason why I gave it a 2 out of 10. But I think completing it gives you this almost proud like feeling that you finally completed it. And this, like I said, this is the story for this game is the best out of the 3. So, you know, getting that 100% for the best game out of all 3 of them, I think just gives you that really proud feeling. So it kind of is worth it in the end, even though all that hard fought battles, but I think in the end it was worth it. But again, the reason why it is lower than some of the other games on this list is because the trophies are very repetitive, pretty much the exact same as Uncharted 1 and 3, and again there's 100 treasures in this one, so more collectibles, miscellaneous trophies can be just as grindy, so that is why it is in the bottom 5. The reason why I put it above Stray is probably because I feel like I couldn't have all 3 Uncharted games in a row, but also because I actually did really enjoy this game. It was a lot of fun, definitely the best out of the 3 Uncharted games I've played so far, and I think, yeah, the story was just slightly better than Stray's, and I just had more fun in general on it. Alright then, we are now going to move into the top 5. So at number 5, I have decided to put Astro's Playroom. So, Astro's Playroom was actually my first ever Platinum, so this game is pretty special to me. First Platinum I ever got on my PS5, and yeah, it's definitely a great game. Definitely would recommend it as anyone's first Platinum. Alright, so in my original video for this game, I gave it a 10 out of 10 to play, a 9 out of 10 to get the Platinum for, and an 8 out of 10 to get the 100% for. So, this is at number 5, because this Platinum is very, very easy to get. This is designed for the PS5, this game, so it actually has the inbuilt tips for trophies that you can look at in the little pop-up menu you can pop up when you click the PlayStation button, so you can pretty much find out how to do any of the trophies by just looking on your PlayStation, so they make it very easy that way. But also this game is just super duper fun. Experiencing the PlayStation controller for the first time, it gets you used to it, shows all its new features, and it's just a really, really fun game in general. I would definitely recommend this game, get the Platinum for it. just a fun little game. And the 100% too. You do have to do speedruns of some of these levels, but they're pretty easy. Only take like under a minute for most of them. So just a bit of practice and you should be able to do them. And other than that, the rest of the trophy is very simple. So that is why it is at number 5, because it's just a fantastic game to get started with. Also, finding all the collectibles is really easy, and it's pretty cool because you're able to see all the old PlayStation controllers and consoles and its history pretty much, so it's pretty cool exploring all that. So now we're going to move on to the next one.
Number 4.
Alright, at number 4 I have decided to put God of War 2018. This game is an absolute masterpiece, and that is why it is at number 4. So in my original video for this game, I gave it a 10 out of 10 to play it and a 9 out of 10 to get the platinum for, and of course no DLC, so 100% is also 9 out of 10. So this game is at number 4 because the story is absolutely brilliant. God of War story, always good, and as you're going to see coming up, Ragnarok's story is pretty good as well. The gameplay, super fun. There are no difficulty related trophies, so if you don't want to do it on the hardest difficulty, you don't have to, but you can still get all the trophies. So it's really anyone can get the platinum on this game. But if you are also a madman or just want to challenge yourself, you can do it on the hardest difficulty whilst getting all the trophies. So in terms of the platinum, there are collectibles, of course, which lots of people I've heard do complain about them, but for me personally, I didn't find them too hard. I just explored every area that I went to, and I found majority of them. And if I didn't find them, on the map, you can actually see like the progress you've made with the collectibles, so you know which area to go back to. And if I really struggled, I just used a guide. But honestly, I could find most of the collectibles. The only real hard ones were the Odin's Ravens, which were very annoying, but thankfully they're green, so they do stick out in the environment quite a lot. But yeah, other than that, collectibles solid in this game, not too bad. You had to do like all the side quests, which I actually think makes the game better, enhances it, as you know, you learn more lore and you play the game for longer, so you get your money's worth. But yeah, you find out more about the characters, and all the side quests in this game are pretty good for what they are. The main downside to this platinum is the Niflheim trophy. It's like this combat challenge where you only have a certain amount of time you can spend there whilst collecting these resources, which then unlock these final battles that you can do. But I just found it very grindy and repetitive, doing the same thing over and over again in the same exact arena, pretty much against the same enemies. And if you die, you lose all your resources that you gathered, so it's like a bit of a gamble, so you have to make sure that you're not dying, but you also want to collect as many resources as you can. So that was the one downside to this platinum, is that combat area could be a bit challenging. On the other hand though, Muspelheim, that combat area was really enjoyable, really tested your skills, and same with the Valkyries, of course. Everyone probably knows about them. They're like the end game bosses, and they really test your skills and are a lot of fun. And yeah, that is why God of War is at number 4, because really it's just a fantastic game, a masterpiece, and you can do it on any difficulty, meaning, you know, even if you're a noob, you can still beat this game. Anyway, on to the next one.
Number 3.
At number 3, I have decided to put Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. This game is truly spectacular and is definitely one of the definitive games that make you feel exactly like Spider-Man. In my original video for this game, I gave it a 10 out of 10 to play, a 9.5 out of 10 to platinum, and a 9 out of 10 to 100%. So this comes in at number 3, as the story is fantastic for this game. Got some really good emotional moments, some good set pieces, very cinematic, very good story. Gameplay awesome as well, makes you feel exactly like Spider-Man. The swinging, super fun, and the combat is great as well. Going for the platinum is pretty easy as well. There are quite a few collectibles, but they show up on the map, so they are actually very easy to find and very easy to get. There's other bases or crimes that you have to do where you have to defeat enemies, which are also a bit of fun, testing your skills. But that is the one downside to the platinum, and why it is not quite a perfect platinum out of 10 out of 10 and only a 9.5 is because of the crimes, as they do appear randomly on the map and you have to do 5 in each area of the city. So that's quite a lot of crimes you have to do, and there's also different factions as well, so it's almost like 20 crimes per area in the city, and there's about 10 or so areas, so you know, you're almost doing about 200 crimes, and because they are random, you know, you're going to be doing a lot of swinging around hoping for the best. Another reason why it is only at number 3 as well is because of the 100%. So there's about 5 DLC packs of this game, so quite a lot of DLC to get the 100%, but most of them are just extra story related DLC they added to the game, so it's pretty much more of the base game, which is completely fine. Then there is also the New Game Plus, which does add on another playthrough, unfortunately, and you have to do it on the hardest difficulty, but it isn't too bad, as New Game Plus allows you to keep all your abilities and skills, so it makes it significantly easier even on the hardest difficulty. And also there's the remastered trophies, as I played the PS5 version of this game, and there's a few there like get 100 combo, which can be a bit difficult, or taking down an enemy base without getting hit at all. So that is why it's only at number 3, as there are a few challenging trophies and you do have to play through the game a second time for that 100%. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our top 2.
Number 2.
So coming in at number 2, we have Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Alright, so in my original video for this game, I gave it a 10 out of 10 to play, and also a 10 out of 10 to get the platinum for. Perfect. That's right, we are now officially in the vicinity of games that are getting perfect platinums, in my opinion. This game is perfect in my opinion, as it is pretty much the same as the Spider-Man game before it, but they actually fixed the crimes so you can just start them up whenever you want to and they're not random, making that trophy infinitely easier. Collectibles, the same thing, they're still easy to get as they appear on the map. All the side quests are fun, add to the story. Well, this game is actually quite short compared to Spider-Man and its main story, but you know, doing all the side quests, going for that platinum increases your playtime, enhancing the game, and you know, really getting your money's worth for the game. Now, there is no 100% for this game, as there is no DLC, but there is still a New Game Plus playthrough that you do have to do. Now, you don't have to play the game on the hardest difficulty, but there is a New Game Plus trophy, which is a minor annoyance, but this game is quite short, so it's not really too bad to do the story again. So overall, a solid game, great story, and the platinum enhances the gameplay overall, so that is why it is the first perfect platinum on this list, in my opinion. And speaking of perfect platinums, we're going to move on to the final platinum on this list.
Number 1.
So the number 1 ranking on my first 10 platinums list is God of War Ragnarok. God of War 2018 was a masterpiece, and this game is a masterpiece as well. A truly great sequel and a fantastic follow-up to the first game. So, in my original video for this game, I gave it a 10 out of 10 to play and a 10 out of 10 to get the platinum for. So, God of War Ragnarok was actually the game that I got with my PS5, as it was the bundle that came with this game. It wasn't my first platinum, as I wanted to do Astro's Playroom first, and then of course I wanted to do the other God of War game first, so I knew what the story was like. But yeah, this is technically my first PS5 game that I owned, and it is at the top of my list. This is at the top of my list as it is very similar to God of War 2018. Story is fantastic, gameplay just as good, except this time it actually fixes some of the more grindier trophies, and the side quests are actually a lot more enjoyable this time, as there's more characters, so you get even more backstory, learn more about the different worlds, you can travel to more realms as well. This game is pretty much like 2018, but just better in every way, in my opinion, and that is why it's at number 1. The reason why it's ahead of Miles Morales is probably just because it's a bit more of a longer story. I preferred this story more. I'd say it goes into more depth into certain things, and the characters are probably fleshed out a bit more as well. And it's a great sequel to God of War, whereas Miles Morales is more of like a spin-off side story. Still a good game, but I just preferred this game a lot more. The collectibles in this game, just like the first game, especially with Odin's Ravens, but again, if you just explore, you should be able to find them all, and on the map you can see where you've missed any and can go back and get them, and if you really need to, use a guide to see exactly what you missed. Also, this game only requires one playthrough and you can do it on any difficulty. So again, don't have to do it on the hardest one unless you really want to give yourself that challenge. I think I just did it on the normal difficulty, and it still was challenging even with the final endgame bosses. There's another Valkyrie, and then there's these undead Viking dudes kind of thing that you have to take out. They're the new Valkyries in this game. There's a very big challenge as well. Even on normal they're hard. So this game has some good endgame content as well, and there is no DLC, so you don't have to worry about 100%, so that means the Platinum is, and 100% is still a 10 out of 10. I would definitely recommend this for anyone to play, especially if you like going for Platinums. This is a must-have Platinum that you should have on your profile. Fantastic game, story, gameplay. It's just the most enjoyable experience I've had so far whilst going for the Platinums on games. So there you go. That is my ranking video for my 10 Platinums that I have got since getting my PS5. So in the end, as a final recap, at my 10th spot was Gotham Knights, at number 9 was Uncharted Drake's Fortune Remastered, at number 8 Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception Remastered, at number 7 was Stray, at number 6 was Uncharted 2 Among Thieves Remastered, at number 5 was Astro's Playroom, at number 4 was God of War, at number 3 was Spider-Man Remastered, at number 2 was Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and finally at number 1 was God of War Ragnarok. I think as far as the first 10 Platinums go, those are some pretty good games to have. I'm pretty proud of them. Wouldn't say there's any bad games in there. Like I said earlier in the video, none of these games are bad. They're all good in their own way. It's just a few of them, the Platinum experience wasn't as good as others. And also remember, this is just my list. If you think obviously you might not have the same first 10 as what I've had, but if you have got the Platinum for any of these games, I'd like to hear your opinion down in the comments below. Just be respectful about it. And yeah, I'll try and respond to as many people as I can. It'll be interesting to see what you guys think about this top 10 list. Well, that was a bit different to any of the other videos I've made. My first top 10 video I've made, so if you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button again. Just experimenting a bit on this one, see how it goes. But yeah, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys all in the next one, which I'm sure you guys are excited for, is going to be Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. And I'm going to be actually doing the Legacy of Thieves collection, so straight after that will be also a Lost Legacy video. I'll see you guys all in the next one then. See you later.